All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Space Brothers, episode 17. The beeping started.
Yeah.
Okay, you are now in the situation that Group B has been dealing with for a while now.
Right.
I hope you appreciate that all you had to deal with was a broken clock. Because not getting sleep, that's a bit worse.
Right. But the inevitability of it is here.
Right.
Is it something that basically was, meant to happen eventually, or is it something that a person within set off intentionally?
Right.
Who's to say?
Because
there's some fun things involved here because our rocket scientist here did this for a reason, and I'm really wanting to go back to my plant theory a little bit.
I think it's almost confirmed that it's a plant deal at this point, especially with him, saying like, well, hey, if you figure it out, then when you do, congratulations, but like.
Or it's something a little bit more, complex or a little bit simpler than that.
Sure. Yeah.
There's some weird things that have been going on, and now I'm wanting to feel like Muta here and be like, what was the thing that I missed? What was the thing that gave it away some point earlier? I can't think of anything, but I'm excited.
If they are plants, what exactly is JAXA planning? Why the plants? Who are they thinking is the actual candidates?
It's just to stress them out, just to
sure.
It's just to have a person that can force a situation on the inside for that. Clearly, the result is to make sure that even if they had a perfect team or what have you within this allotted time period, you would have something towards the end that would increase the stress alongside their natural stress levels increasing just by being isolated or in this situation, or because of the poor planning that would naturally come from having people be forced into this situation. Like, I don't know, you start overfeeding at specific points, and now your rations are running low.
All the kinds of things that you really can't afford to have happen in space. But at the same time, things will go wrong. And so how do they respond to that?
Exactly. Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, here it is.
入ってから10日目の夜のことだ。我々はビービーうるせえ謎のアラーム音に叩き起こされた。今は多分夜中。
Right, you don't even know.
なんだ。次から次へと。
どうしよう。また問題が。食料が足りないこと。
Yeah, because then it piles on and becomes just another thing they have to deal with. But
right,
we'll have to take it seriously, though.
Yep.
そうなったらこの班はもう
fall apart. Yeah. What?
Huh?
Oh, is he mouthing something to him?
Oh, or to the camera?
前に音の出所を探そうぜ。また鳴ったら鬱陶しい。
Good thinking.
どこにあるんだ?
Someone could be planting it on somebody else's bed right now.
Oh, he's really not good at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very quiet.
Yeah, he's not usually quiet.
そして何より変なのが、さっきからこいつ静か。
Yep. He would be mouthing off right now.
アラームが鳴った時、まず一番に騒ぎ出すのはヤッサンのはずだ。
Yeah, much more like him. Yep.
そうじゃなかった。
Now, is that because he's nervous and because he did it this time? Or because all those other times it was an accident?
Or his hemorrhoids?
どれかだ。
Must be one of the above.
なんでないんだよ。
That means it's on one of us.
それからモーニングコールが来そうだしな。いや、もう少し探そう。気になる。寝る前にゴキブリとか見つけたら殺すまで眠れないって言ったな。
Probably.
I mean, you are a bit of a hyperfixator as well, Muta, when it comes to things that...
You guys won't be able to sleep if you don't get it, so it kind of makes sense.
私たちがずっと見られていることを忘れるな。
Gotcha.
が完成の見ている前で自ら夢を壊すような真似をすると思うかい？
Cool.
あいつも信じよう。
Okay.
ついでに
Not as confident about that.
Yeah.
役者の演出。
Sure.
あれなんつったっけこういうの誰かに聞いたな。
Wait.
Oh, did his brother?
This is the way his memory works. Ah, her!
Oh.
ジェニファー
Yeah. This is amazing! What did she say?
これね、わざとなのよ。ダミアンにグリーンカードが出てんのよ。
Oh.
アメリカのエージ
No, not that green card. Yeah,
NASA じゃ昔から訓練中に極秘指令が書かれた。
yeah! Plants, dude!
それを鍛えるためにチーム内で極秘にトラブルを起こさせるのがグリーンカードってわけ。
Okay, so not really plants. It's more just that they get the orders, and that's part of their training to make sure you
Sure.
do this mistake, to do
Yeah.
this thing. One person to get rid of the clock and one person to press the button.
だとしたらアラーム音のグリーンカードは
Nice.
His hand's out of his pocket, too.
Yeah.
正直者のやすさんに
Yes, for the very honest, yeah.
グリーンカードをもらった。
How did you know?
Did you get one too?
なんでや
正直にね。
それだけは答えら
Right, right, I'm not supposed to. Cool. You did get
Okay.
one then. Because if you didn't, then you could say no. Yeah. So you just said yes. Cool.
さすが正直者。
Yeah.
おいちょ待て
Hey, yeah.
自分なんで知ってんねんやっぱ時計は自分か
違うよ。でも疑いは全部晴れた。
Right, right. Ah.
Cool.
That's awesome. But that's interesting, though, because in some ways they're kind of telling us who their favorites were by who they gave the green cards to, right?
Right, because they probably wouldn't give the green cards to the people that they needed to test on this stuff.
Well, right, but
目の疲れから頭痛になっていませんか
Ah.
肩や腰はどうですか
right.
いや
So this is when they brought it up.
いい知らせがあります古谷君からのプレゼント
And when they gave this, they also gave the green card.
福田さんあなたならこの選抜を受けると思ってましたよ
星香くんかその声は2008年の選抜を思い出すね
Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
I was hoping he would clarify that, like, hey, this doesn't mean like you failed or anything like that.
Right.
Because this is clearly mid-test. Like, this is
Yeah.
not.
やねんいきなり握手して気持ち悪い
やすさん、俺はお前も信じてるぜ。
はあやめろ気持ち悪い
お前らそんなことよりアラームがないんだって
All right, Muto, you gonna be a leader?
しなくても私も寝れないよ
いや俺は寝れるって
俺なら蚊取り線香炊くね。
Okay.
Yeah. Muto just brought the energy up of everybody here. Yeah.
これだけははっきり言えるよ。この中には
Oh,
悪い奴は一人もいない。
fantastic.
俺はもう今日はぐっすりだ。
I don't know, that beeping will probably be pretty annoying.
Depends, yeah. Like, it's more just the point when it turns on, when it goes from.
とりあえず応急処置なんですけど、これで耳栓なんてどうでしょう。
Brilliant!
こうやってくるくるっと
Yep, just wet it a bit. Yep.
ちょっと湿らせると、
Yep.
さらに
Brilliant.
いい感じに。
おお、
Okay.
いいねこれ。
まあまあやな
Just don't wet it too much, otherwise it'll break apart in your ear and. Yeah. You gotta do it.
から毎日鳴らさなあかんのか。
What were your orders?
司令、本日から最終日まで
Until the final day.
Damn.
リモコンスイッチを押しなさい。アラームは1日最低20秒以上鳴らしなさい。
Oh, must be 20 seconds worth of it.
Okay.
でもなんでやろ。耳栓のおかげかな。明日は今日より楽に押せそうや。
よかったさっきのみんな
Right, right. They solved it.
Yeah.
何より我ながら耳栓はナイスアイディア
Now, what do I do about the food? Yeah.
心置きなくいけるね
Unleash the beast.
やっぱり聞こえるじゃねえか。
Fantastic.
Amazing.
チームワークを保つ能力、そしてストレスに耐える力ってのが重要だ。
なるほど。
グリーンカードはその辺を見極めるためには効果的な手段なんだよ。
Yeah, space is a scary and chaotic place.
が知ってたとはな。日々と君に聞いたのかな。
まあ、ストレスを与えるのはね、グリーンカードだけじゃないよ、新人くん。
What are you thinking?
バースも、時間を伏せたのも、その他の細かい仕掛けも、あらもう全部、ストレスをかけるための作戦なんだよね。
Right, give it time.
ねえ、不愛想な顔も、なる意味作戦なのよ。
Fantastic.
そしてもう一つ、二人を選べと言ったこともだ。
Uh-huh. Yeah, I gotta pick two. All right, you gotta do it.
Okay, you gotta tell people.
お先にどうぞ
なんや、今日は量が少ないな。いや、これが袋やな。
Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh no.
最終日までは持たない
So we just have the one box, and that's
今の
it.
みんなの雰囲気なら多分今しかないそして言ってもあんまり怒らなそうな人に
So Muta.
飯がねえぞ。
セリカさん。
Oh,
One of those two.
こっちの二人どちらか
あれどうしたのセリカさん。
And you really should have done this calculus a while ago because then you would have had more food to work with.
I love Seneca. She's
Yeah.
got this like, okay, yeah, like
All right.
I can do this.
の
Starts to. Oh, we just skipped her telling him. Okay.
ってこった。でも大丈夫。わかってる。
Yeah.
わかってるよ。セリカさん。
He thinks that she got a green card as well.
そうジャクソン。
He's like, that's so cruel of you. Yeah.
食料不足になる指令を出してたんだな。
Oh my god.
セリカさん。
I trust you.
道理で大量に作ってる。
Oh my god. Incredible.
ごめんなさい本当に
No, no, no.
セリカさんが謝ることはない。
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't believe you guys would go so
Damn
far.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
悪いのはジャクソだ。
Huh?
出してないっすよね。グリーン
No,
カード。
that would be inhumane. Like,
とにかく
yes.
俺はセリカさんを信じてるよ。
She's like, you're so cool. Like,
You're so sweet and forgiving, and oh my god.
I'm feeling.
What if this was what made her fall for him? Like, there have been a bunch of things,
Right.
you know, up until now, but like,
Yeah.
that would be hilarious.
いっか
Yeah.
That's how I knew I could really
it's more that
depend
she's
on
like,
you. Yeah.
There's clearly some misunderstanding here, but. Oh! Calm down, Muta.
Mu-chan's Doki Doki beat.
It's coming, like.
なんだこりゃ、急に来た。
Oh my god.
南波さんの心拍数がやばいんですけど。
That's some uncensored hand holding right there. Good lord.
だろうね。
Uh-huh.
Okay, nice. So not plants, just given orders to kind of muck things up
so
a bit.
it's the split between plants, but also, no, they are still taking the test legitimately.
It's Town of Salem. Even if you're a townsfolk, you have things that you do at night that fuck up the status quo, so things aren't, inert, Muta, you solved it.
Yep, permanent residency.
Well done.
That's it.
Permanent residency, yes. Bring them all in, yes.
Right. That would have been really funny if it was
card.
like...
You get a green card. Everybody gets a green card.
Imagine if it was still the same thing, but then they used a different color, like blue cards or something. And so then he's like, you got a green card. And they're like, wait, a green card? There's green cards? I just thought they were blue cards.
Did you get one too?
Right.
Those are the ones they give to actual astronauts.
Right. But okay, I like it. So they're not technically plants, but it's still effectively plants in it's JAXA interference, right? Which is what it had to have been.
Yeah, it had to be JAXA interference, but the idea that they would give them to specific people to do means that JAXA is very much hey, we can't risk people feeling like the test is being interfered with in a overt JAXA is like stepping into the premises kind of sense.
And
it's still just the 5 of you in each cube, basically.
Yep. And there's a part of me that wonders if the fact that our boy Furuya got the green card, and from the beginning, right? Not like Fukuda with the glasses and everything.
No, there was a point where he went into a thing there, and they specifically showed him
no, right. They showed him getting it, but well, actually, did they?
Yeah, they had this little thing in here where he's in this little closed off.
Oh, okay, here. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, okay, never mind. I was going to say that maybe, well, that theoretically could still be part of it, but he was the most suspicious of other people in the process thus far.
Right.
And so if it's something where he ended up getting the green card and he's like, oh, okay, and even though he's like, I'm not going to tell anybody, that still maybe makes him that slight bit suspicious of other people because he's like, oh, there's the possibility that they could be antagonistic.
But he got it at some point in the test.
He got it in the actual test.
Right,
cool.
And I like that that's the case because I genuinely did suspect these two actually of being plants. They were the two characters that made the most sense
to be here.
And while that's true that they're not, plants, the thing that I think is actually more interesting is that they were the ones chosen specifically to be given these after they had evaluated them, after they've already gone through 2 specific tests and succeeded at that. JAXA is kind of saying, hey, we don't need your reactions as much as we need the other characters' reactions.
Which is a bit rough because there's that kind of implication of like, you're not going to make the cut.
Yeah. It's a thing of where the deck is already stacked against you, so we more want to see how you just react to the other one that you're not involved in. So we're really only going to give you one chance, basically.
Right, which also makes sense because then the eggs aren't all in one basket of one person being able to keep it a secret and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I would say Yasushi basically definitely failed the clock one. Like he was freaking out. Like specifically with that one.
Yes.
There. Yes. If anything, I'm really glad that we very clearly have Nita still in the running, in my opinion, as being one of the two. Because he has been extremely competent thus far.
Oh, absolutely.
He's been really good at handling most of the stuff here. And he's been a decent leader for those moments when it's maybe like, oh, this could be a little bit stressful. And other than the brother situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically the only thing where he,
he's
prods people.
He's pretty good here. But I'm glad we're not trying to bring up the tension with regards to Ya and Fukuda. Furuya and Fukuda, basically.
Right.
I like that those two are being kind of, at least in my mind from a meta sense, I don't really consider them as being a challenge for the top 2 spots.
Yep.
And so it could be just hey, Nita also gets picked. And it's they have JAXA has one of their picks potentially.
Sure.
And then they pick, Serika and Nita for the main 2.
Well, and that's where...
And Muta is the wild card pick.
Right, and that's where it's... I like that they brought up, they're like, well, hey, that's not the only way we can cause stress, right? We've been doing that with all kinds of things. Even, Mr. Baldy's scowling face,
Surumi himself,
Yeah.
For some reason, the name Surumi just causes stress in people.
I wonder why. It's just,
I love it. But yeah, other than that, this episode was really chill and just kind of helping the viewer get caught up with regards to how they respond to this. And Muta did a really good job of being like, hey, no, I get it. There's no enemies.
Yep.
I have no enemies.
Exactly.
Here. Yeah.
It was very much the we've given you enough tools to figure out more or less what's going on in the previous episode.
Yeah.
And then this one will be the, hey, let's actually see the characters go through figuring it out and
just Muta figured it out.
Realizing exactly what flavor of this we're doing, right? Yeah. Okay, yes, it's JAXA interference. This is exactly what it looks like. This is why they're doing it. Cool. And yeah, there still is that whole thing of, hey, you need to pick two, right? They need to come to a consensus somehow, and that's going to be plenty of stress and strife and tension within the group all on its own.
I'm loving the idea too that Muta didn't tell anybody about him figuring it out that didn't have a green card, if that makes sense.
Right.
So he could have told Serika about this, but instead he just kind of confused her with the
right, because
sure, yeah, okay.
Right, the way that I'm thinking about it is that he's probably thinking, okay, I don't want to screw up any of their positions by saying it out loud and stuff because I don't want it to seem like, oh, they let the secret slip.
Yeah, and I'm sabotaging them by saying
Right,
this,
exactly. At the same time, I'm absolutely going to give the camera dirty looks of like, oh, you JAXA, you son of a bitch, you made her short us on food. Which it wasn't, but I love that. But yeah, the fact that Serika basically has that easy out there, delightful. And also, as a result of that, Muta is on her side, even though he would have been anyways.
Oh, totally.
But it does still need to be brought up with the rest of the group, because that is a very serious problem.
They might actually just do the thing of where it's like, hey, FYI, Serika brought it to my attention that we've been... just rationing out a bit too much at times for the food.
Yep.
So we're going to have to cut, breakfasts until the rest of the day.
We're on 2 meal days.
Or we're going to have to cut lunches or we're going to cut dinners or whatever.
And so we'll just be a bit less active in the cabin,
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't have too many more of those running math, tests or things like that.
If anything, it'd be really cool to see what they replace it with by focusing on hey, let's have little naps at this time here to try and just go into a period of hibernation for that little bit.
And that does make sense.
Or do some kind of group activity that focuses on everybody's downtime,
And it does make sense that they could have sort of a hibernation bit, because if it's simulating space, the trip back, there's not going to be much to do, I imagine.
Just maintaining,
Yeah, maybe you do some sciencey tests on stuff that you gathered while you were out there, but
even then,
for the most part, it's okay, and now we've got our 3 month, or maybe not 3 months, but now 3 weeks of just travel back to Earth, right? That's not okay. All right, just sleep.
Yep.
Go into stasis.
Basically. Yeah. But I like to see Muta kind of getting over, kind of joyous over this this discovery here, because he is the kind of person to hyperfixate and be like, I must solve this.
Right.
And I liked his moment of yes, it must be one of these things. And one of these things being hemorrhoids are acting up. And he's like, yes, definitely one of the above. Yeah,
yep,
for sure. But the way his mind kind of keeps a data bank of all this stuff, keeps an entry for all these things that he's learned. There's certain kinds of genius out there that isn't just, I solve problems really quickly, or I am really good at thinking in extremely high concepts or what have you.
Sure.
Memory and being able to selectively recall things after you've, it's been a long time since you've listened to that or heard that or seen that.
Especially since I'm pretty sure he was tuning it out when she said it.
Yeah, he was. I remember that. He was not listening.
It just did the squeaky voice,
right.
The track is sped up.
It was almost like a joke back in that episode.
Right.
Because that was not said in the episode.
Yep. And then, oh, wait. He brings it up. The fact that Muta figured out that it was JAXA interference, that's actually not what's impressive.
No.
What's impressive is that he knew the color of the thing that they delivered the instructions in.
Right.
That's what's crazy. That's the wait, are you psychic? Or did you get one too?
Right.
Or did, he need to tell you about this?
Right. And the idea that, so he went to NASA and NASA uses the same training thing probably because the training stuff that JAXA uses is what NASA uses. It's,
Yeah.
NASA's probably
Fairly standardized.
leading the whole charge of things since
Right.
the 60s and stuff. So, yeah, cool. But the idea that in that tour he learned this feels like Muta the kid is still in there, voraciously absorbing all the information he has with passion and gusto, even at the times where he was kind of tuning out Jennifer.
Filtering it out of like,
being
wait, no, that isn't
blah,
important
blah,
info.
blah.
Yeah.
She's not telling me anything I didn't already know. But like, wait a minute. No, I did hear that.
Hang on.
Who? And then he draws the silhouette.
And so does that mean then that Jennifer was also kind of potentially giving him a leg up of like, I don't know if you'll remember this.
I think it was just a coincidence that he happened to be watching Hibito's training.
Sure,
and it was at that time when the thing got brought up.
Right.
And she's like, did you know? This is just a cool thing that we do here. Because these are all clearly staged, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we have to stage it so that fun things that they can't necessarily train for happen.
Yep.
And they have to think on the fly.
Yeah.
And that's something that Muta's decently good at. I would say his thinking on the flyness is a little bit hampered at times due to how he'll zero in on like one specific thing for a little bit. But the ability to just recall things in memory like that, I am envious. I feel like for me, my memory is not at all well trained. Like it is dog water.
So,
like it is so bad at times.
I often tell people that my memory is like a lockbox. Nothing gets out of there. But sometimes I've misplaced the key and I'm like, wait, hang on, I need to get in there.
I need something.
Nope, it's lost in there. I can't get to it. All right.
Like the way I describe it is that like memory is clearly, there's short-term memory and long-term memory stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like with repetition, things go into long-term memory, right?
Sure.
But how do you deal with short-term memory? That's the one that I have a lot of issue with, where it's the like, hey, you didn't repeat this 7 times in a minute, You did just get this thing 20 minutes ago, and then you're immediately like, wait, I have to catch up. And it's almost like, it's not that you won't remember it at all, but it's that it takes you 4 seconds. Why? Why is that a thing? Am I just getting old?
I think it's also one of those things where like Muta's just got that because I think the short-term, long-term memory thing you brought up is really on point because it's not that he can remember a lot of stuff.
No.
Anyone can cram for a test, right? And that's not actually putting it in a long-term memory.
That's just repetition.
But it's the fact that something that shouldn't have been in long-term memory was, right? If that same day that she said it, he was like, wait, hang on, let's wait. She was talking about something. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
That'd still be impressive. But it's the fact that he's like, no. I know that this was talked about when I specifically wasn't paying attention.
When would it have... Yeah, that's what it is. He's got the ability to critical think this in like a reverse kind of situation where he's like, the problem is I heard about this from somewhere. Where would I have heard about this? Well, I had that, tour at NASA. Was there any point when anybody would have been talking about this? Well, Jennifer talked to me about a lot of stuff. So let's go over Jennifer here. Do I remember a point where Jennifer mentioned...
there was the time when
Hibito
had
this.
the deal.
Yeah. Let's create the scene in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
That's something I do understand. Like, it makes sense. But the fact that he successfully did it, that it actually worked.
Yeah, that's... Right.
That's cool. Because that's then not genius. That's just really clever critical thinking skills.
Because, again, all of that information other than the green part...
Yeah.
He could have gotten from just being like, well, okay, this is a test, so clearly this is some JAXA
Right, but he would
stuff.
be making some logic leaps.
But he'd be making some logic leaps.
Yeah.
Whereas this is I know.
I know exactly what this is.
Right, which is like, oh, okay.
right.
Like, there's a part of me that wonders if, like, how they would handle it in situations where, like, other people, especially as they're, like, talking, maybe they keep it quiet to themselves. Sure. Maybe they're a blabbermouth like I would probably be. Just be like, oh, okay, so maybe this is a JAXA thing. Oh, right, but then this is part of the test. Okay, look at a camera. Right, so I'll treat it as if it's serious. I think this is you guys, and that might make it easier for me to trust this person because I'm thinking that it's not them, it's you guys.
And JAXA probably just doesn't care. They're like, oh, cool. He's a little bit smarter at like figuring out these kinds of things.
Sure, but
it has no bearing really on the test.
That's where there's that part of me that's like, could they actually just give one to everybody?
Yeah.
Because then it's hey, you know that there are going to be things that go wrong because it's a test, and yes, we get that. But you need to make sure that when those things happen, you respond to them like these unavoidable things that like shouldn't happen, but hey, they do, and you need to be able to respond to them in a way where cool, this spaceship is still fine. You know?
Right. The one part there that I think would be a little bit tricky with it is you wouldn't really want to give it to all 5 people. Here's why.
Okay.
You get the thing and you say, hey, you are the only person that has this specific thing. We're giving you a special thing. And they lie, basically, and say, you need to do this. If you tell anybody about this, you fail immediately.
Right.
You are not an astronaut.
Right.
You're done. So here's your orders. You need to do this. On the point where something weird happens, like the 3rd time, the fact that everybody got a card, they'd start to be like, wait, did they lie? Did somebody else get a card?
Oh, yeah,
And then
absolutely.
the 4th time something would happen, and then the 5th time something would happen, people would be like,
yeah, so that's definitely what this is, and now we just need to make sure that we behave appropriately.
Right. So what they probably do is they're like, no, we're going to have 1 or 2. That way there are going to be a lot of people in the test that just don't have this concept even in their mind.
Sure.
They're not thinking about it. And
and
it
who
gives
knows?
the opportunity to have 1 or 2 of them kind of reveal themselves to be a more anti-group, anti-team, suspicious, like, instigator that stirs up chaos, and they're like, okay, cool,
and it
we'll
could even,
demerit on your card here.
It could even theoretically be something where they're like, hey, we picked you not actually because you have less likelihood of winning, of like doing the test properly, but we actually think you'll most be able to act as if you don't know.
Right.
And so here you go, do this. This is what you need to do. Remember, this is still part of the test, so you need to grapple with the fact that this is happening, and you are not the one doing it.
Good point. I would never give one of these to Muta.
Yeah, he'd be terrible at it.
Muta would be so bad
Same thing
at
with
it.
Serica, right? Like, Serica would not be able to handle it.
Okay.
No, she'd be like...
she'd be better than Muta, though, that's for sure. Like.
No, right. Yes. Definitely.
Definitely.
Right. But
yeah, I absolutely would give one to Fukuda because he's older, so he can be a claptrap, just not say a thing very easy.
And then with Yasushi, he's such a loudmouth already that in a lot of ways it's just like, hey, no, just keep doing your thing.
So that's actually where I would disagree. I feel like
because they did mess up here. He immediately got quiet and it didn't work.
To me, I would not have given him one.
Right,
because he's such a loudmouth.
And that's
I
why
would have given it to Nita.
Nita would be great with it.
And that's why I think there's some slight potential that it's a no.
You're not going to make it.
We've already scored you the lowest of these 5.
Right. If you
or
somehow
2 of the lowest.
If you somehow get impressed and everyone decides, hey, you guys are the ones that should be it. Maybe we'll reconsider.
Right.
But as of right now,
yeah, I would think of it like the 2 people that they pick are going to add to the score overall that they have internally, that JAXA has.
Oh, sure.
Because again, the 2 people they pick are not necessarily the ones that are going to actually become astronauts. It's something that they say,
right?
But again, JAXA interferes, so they have the potential of basically being like, hey, we're taking all the variables in here. You are constantly being watched. Every little thing counts and adds up.
It could also just be the thing of, hey, we know enough about how you handle stress in that, Yasushi, you don't, right? And then Fukuda, you do. So you guys are good, covered in that, sphere of things. And so now we'll give you the stuff. Or maybe even Yasushi, great, you did the thing with the glasses. Yeah. That was not a plant. That was not a, whatever.
No.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. You helped keep the team together, right? You thought about the group first. So now that you've maybe passed that unexpected thing, here you go.
Here's a test.
Here's a test, right?
That's a good point. But we know what's going on. Team A is doing really well. Now let's just figure out this food situation.
And did Kenji figure out what the situation was over there? And is he just like, okay, so we got some traders over here, but... Well, all right. Back to my puzzle.
I'm not concerned about Group B, honestly.
Kenji's fine.
Kenji's fine. Yeah.
And Group C.
Who?
Yeah.
But all right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.